6 years later, Shun K and I finally got back together. I was squatting outside a Mishua ice cream shop when I grabbed him by the sleeve as he hurried past. Buy one sundae, get one free. Want to split an order? He put down his phone and gave a cold glance at the banner advertising the couple's deal. Oh, I said. So, getting back together? Shun K squinted with a smile. Fine by me, but no public announcement. I've recently been keeping a little canary. She gets jealous easily. I froze. He turned around. Oh, and packed the ice cream to go. She loves it. Before I could react, the shop assistant had already cheerfully packed 2 sundaes. You two are such a perfect couple. Hope you grow old together. Shun K's face was expressionless as he grabbed his portion and left. His Rolls-Royce was parked by the roadside. It was boiling hot, and I squatted at the entrance of a fruit shop to steal some AC while licking my ice cream. Right before he drove off, he glanced at me with a half smile. Girlfriend need a ride? I looked over at his passenger seat. Pink seat cushions, cute plush toys. Every inch claimed ownership. I answered slowly. No thanks, my place is close. Before I could finish, he drove away without a second glance. Hey, don't block the doorway. Sorry, my legs were sore from squatting. When I stood up, I wasn't paying attention, and the sundae in my hand fell to the ground. Well, too bad. That was a boyfriend for a sundae deal. I clicked my tongue, disappointed, and turned around to go home. The rental room was simple and clean. I quietly took down the old class photo from the wall. The boy's eyes curved into crescents, his smile bright as he held the girl's hand carefully. In contrast, the girl's expression was blank, making her look rather cold. I took a few more glances, then tossed it into the trash. TSK, so that's how ugly my smile was. No wonder he wanted to break up with me back then. Meow meow, the stray little cat I picked up rubbed against my leg. I opened a can of cat food for it, a bargain from yesterday's buy one get 3 deal at the supermarket. Used to being poor, I feel a sting every time I miss out on a deal. I even regretted not asking him for breakup compensation back then. Just then, an unfamiliar number called. I answered. It was Shun K. His voice was still cold. We've reconciled, but you won't add me back on WeChat? Don't you know calling is a hassle? I gave a quiet "oh" in response. Before I could say anything, a soft, seductive moan came from the other end. Mr. Shin, I'm hungry. He hung up immediately, leaving me with the dull beeping of the dial tone. Actually, that getting back together was just a joke. I wanted to tell him to forget it, but recalling what I'd just heard, I couldn't bring myself to call back. I typed in his WeChat ID, account deactivated. His phone number also deactivated. Slowly, I hugged my phone and lay down on the bed. Shun K himself had forgotten. He was the one who deleted me back then. Later, he remembered and added me back with the same phone number. He accepted the request quickly, but then didn't say a word for ages. I quietly snooped through the 6 years he'd been gone. His moments were silent, monotonous, until last year. There appeared a vibrant girl in a red dress, so much like his old self. From that day on, Shun K's posts became more frequent. His smile wasn't as passionate as before, but it carried a faint trace of happiness. I was stunned. Halfway through scrolling, the screen went black. It seemed he'd remembered and blocked me. I slowly finished the last bite of instant noodles. I tossed aside my phone, wrapped myself in the blanket, and stayed awake all night. In the following days, we both acted as if nothing had happened. I prepare lessons, go to school, feed the cat, a routine of 2 points on a line. He's busy with his company, traveling abroad for negotiations. Occasionally, I'll scroll past news on TV. Shin K, the tech tycoon, rising alone, swallowing up company after company. Sometimes John Lin would bring groceries to visit me, and we'd sit on the couch, eating watermelon, watching the news together. These moves made many heiresses restless, extending olive branches. A bold reporter asked, Mr. Shun, you've turned down all marriage alliances. Is it because? Shun K squinted, composed and aloof, yet a hint of tenderness flickered in his eyes. I have a girlfriend. Everyone guessed it was the girl in the mansion. Only John Lin nudged me, hesitating. Didn't you just say you two got back together? He'll marry you, right? I mean, back then he pursued you so passionately, the whole school knew. I stared at the polite, cold him on the screen. I shook my head and tapped her forehead. Silly, who would have a girlfriend just for an ice cream? Shun-kei never really cared about me. I know, but he is the Shun-kei who loves you the most in the world. She counted on her fingers. You skipped class together, caught dolls together, shared your first kiss. Every time you gave him a look, the aloof academic prodigy would wag his tail and come running. The memories started to fade into the distance. By the way, be honest with me. Back then, it wasn't really you who cheated and dumped him, was it? I didn't say a word, just shook my head honestly. Jianglin paused for a moment and changed the subject. It's okay, don't be sad. It's not like we're short on men. I looked up and said slowly, I'm fine, actually. She choked, tied on an apron, and went to the kitchen to cook. TSK, I knew you were heartless. Come help. I thought things would go on as usual until one night he took the initiative to text me. Have dinner with me tomorrow night. I'll wait for you downstairs. I only saw the message after I came out of the shower. Yes, since we broke up 6 years ago, maybe I've gotten older and lazier. I've always lived in this small apartment where we once lived together. I was dazed for a moment before I thought to refuse. No, I have plans tomorrow. The reply from the other side was still very brief. I waited for 3 minutes. Indifferent, distant, impatient. Only then did I remember that he was no longer the Shun-kei who would go along with everything I arranged. But I really didn't want to eat this meal. After pondering for a moment, I typed, I'm really sorry. Actually, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that the ice cream shop rarely has promotions, and the weather is so hot. You're the only person I know on the street. It would be too intrusive to drag someone else into splitting the order. At least we've dated. Maybe we should just break up. It's better for you, for me, for everyone. The more I wrote, the messier it got. I deleted everything and sent only one sentence. That day when I said we should get back together, I was joking. I held my phone and waited for a while. He didn't reply anymore. I sighed. Those regrets from 6 years ago, let's just forget about them. I didn't take it seriously. He probably couldn't be bothered to deal with me and casually blocked me. But when I came back from class in the afternoon, I happened to run into Shun-kei at the entrance. He was lazily leaning against his car, which drew a crowd of girls watching. It's Senior Shun. He really is handsome. Yeah, he was the provincial top scorer 8 years ago. Shun-kei stared blankly at the sycamore trees on campus. I silently went around, but he called out to me. Suemo, long time no see. So you've been a teacher at Jiangcheng No. 1 High School all along. Jiangcheng No. 1 High School was our alma mater. A hint of teasing flashed in his eyes. What's the matter? Memories you can't let go of. I blankly uttered an ah. I really can't let it go. They offered me double the salary. Shunju's expression turned unpleasant. Huh, you're still as money-loving as ever, he said, his expression unreadable. He pulled open the car door and got in. Get in, I said slowly. I really don't want to go. Shunju casually rolled down the window. Seafood in sauce is half off today. I mumbled weakly. Can I take it to go? He seemed amused despite himself. Suit yourself. I cheerfully sat in the back seat. He had changed cars today. A Cayenne, which looked rarely driven. There were no more pink decorations on the passenger seat. Shunju drove in silence. I leaned against the window, and we said nothing to each other. Actually, I didn't understand why he had come over. I had clearly said it was a joke. He didn't seem like someone who would pester. He glanced at me casually in the rearview mirror, then irritably pulled out a cigarette. My eyes flickered and I parted my lips, but he, holding the cigarette pack, accidentally pressed some button. A sweet, cute female voice rang out. Dear Mr. Shin, are you in a bad mood again? Don't smoke, okay? Let me sing you a song. Two tigers love to dance. I was startled, and he was momentarily taken aback. Subconsciously, he put the cigarette back, and a warm, startling smile rippled in his eyes. That left me truly restless. The car soon arrived at a seaside food stall. Shun-kei went inside to order. I leaned against the railing, enjoying the sea breeze. A drunk, overweight man came over and put his hand on my shoulder. Hey, pretty lady, where's your boyfriend? I silently pushed his hand away and stepped back. The man wouldn't let it go. As we struggled, I caught Shun-kei's eyes not far away. He watched calmly until a few college boys nearby couldn't stand it anymore and stepped in to stop him. Only then did Shun-kei leisurely come over. Perhaps recognizing the man, The drunkard was so scared that he sobered up more than halfway. President Shen, she's your woman, He laughed and patted the fat man's shoulder. You bullied her. That's got nothing to do with me. I stared at him. He shrugged, his eyes full of cold detachment.
What?
I said we'd get back together, but I never said I'd still be good to you. With that, Shun Ke carried the seafood and beer and turned to leave. He leaned back in the rattan chair. I stood there, refusing to sit down. Eat some first, otherwise the takeout bags won't be able to hold it all. I finally felt something was off and quietly asked, President Shen, have you seen the messages? He looked at me calmly and said casually, What messages? I don't have the time to stare at your chat box all day. I still didn't move. He grew a bit impatient. Are you eating or not? I looked down. These were all my usual favorites. My stomach was really hungry. I reached out and tried a skewer. It was so spicy that tears instantly streamed down. Cough, cough. Not good. He scrutinized me without restraint. Oh, I forgot. This is my favorite flavor. Before, I always went along with you and ate the clear soup. This time, just bear with it, okay? I stayed silent and dipped it in my water glass to rinse it off, but it only got spicier. Other than that, it was very fresh, the meat tender.
He squinted at me for a while.
He raised his hand and called the waiter, ordering another round of everything on the table, this time without the spicy version. He paused, then added, and a box of strawberry mousse. I took out a wet wipe and said slowly, No need. I want to go home. Shun Ke raised an eyebrow. What? Already feeling wronged. Actually, it wasn't that bad. But the spiciness in my stomach was too intense, and a burning sensation slowly crept into my heart, making me feel uncomfortable. I just wanted to go home right away, too lazy to even pack leftovers. He also stood up, pushing aside the plates, and said lazily, Then let's go. I'll walk you home. I opened my mouth, and as if guessing my next refusal, he added another line. This is Haicheng, over 10 kilometers away, and you're directionally challenged. Do you want to walk until dawn? Shun Ke naturally took my hand. I pulled away uncomfortably, but as always, he held on tighter. I couldn't break free, so I gave up. Just as we were about to leave, I picked up my phone to take a photo and share this hidden gem with Jiang Lin. Shun Ke, who had been staring off into space, suddenly reached out and knocked my phone out of my hand. Don't take pictures. His voice was loud enough to draw attention from nearby people, who all turned to look. He said coldly, If she sees the photo, I have plenty of ways to ruin you. I was stunned for a moment before I realized what he meant. The phone hit the ground. The screen shattered. I bent down to pick it up, wiping off the dust. It was a pity it was a new phone. I said slowly, I wasn't trying to take a picture with you, let alone post it online. I just thought this restaurant was pretty good and wanted to come back with friends next time. A flicker of guilt passed through Shinju's eyes, then quickly faded into indifference. He pressed his lips together. I'll buy you a new phone. This one of yours is already quite old. From last year. I shook my head silently. No, there's no reason for me to accept gifts from you. I'll have a friend pick me up. Do as you please, President Shen. Shinju squinted. Smirking coldly, he grabbed my wrist. What relationship? Weren't you the one begging me to get back together? I let out a delayed, raised my phone and said, Did you not see the message I sent you? I was really just joking then. What are you talking about? He frowned and opened his phone. My messages had been set to Do Not Disturb. Who did it? The answer was obvious. I said apologetically, I'm sorry. I just wanted to meet the minimum for free shipping. I'm really sorry if it caused any misunderstanding. Sumo. He cut me off, his face dark, almost gritting his teeth. So, just for an ice cream, I blinked blankly. Fine, Sumo, you're really something. He sneered a few times and kicked the nearby tree hard. The phoenix tree leaves fluttered down, covering me. You know what? He said. Every time I see that indifferent look on your face, I just want to strangle you. He finally seemed to lose his temper. A patient with emotional disorders like you. Who else would want you? Don't regret it. Shun Ke left coldly. I stood there. A few passers-by looked at me strangely and whispered, So she has emotional disorders, incapable of loving. No wonder her boyfriend is suffering. Putting up with a selfish and cold partner. No wonder he's angry. Can't these patients just stop dating? They're harming others. Go to a mental hospital. I lowered my head.
Shun K was angry again.
The breakup 6 years ago was still vivid in my mind. He had been just as furious and pleading back then. Suemo, why do you never say you love me? Say it. Why is it always me making the first move? Why do you always seem like you don't care about me? Have you been wanting to break up all along? He slammed his fist on the table, his voice loud and hoarse. There were people all around. Glass cut his hand, staining it crimson. His eyes were also bloodshot. I was truly scared stiff. I didn't know how to respond. Seeing him like this, I was so terrified. Memories from childhood came flooding back. I covered my ears and screamed. Then let's break up. Once those words were out, everything finally returned to calm. But later, even though I took a lot of medicine, it was useless. When I went to find him again, he already had a new lover, someone who knew how to love him. At some point, a light drizzle started falling from the sky. I had lied to him. No one came to pick me up. I silently knocked on the door of the nearby clinic. Doctor, can emotional disorders be cured? A man in a white coat happened to be leaning against the door. He glanced at me and lazily said, "Come to me, I guarantee a cure. Just learn 3 sentences from me." I blinked my eyes. He cleared his throat. First sentence, I love you. I carefully examined the man in front of me. His skin was pale and cool-toned, his figure tall and slender, with both hands tucked into the pockets of his white coat. He had a cold and aloof appearance, but his eyes sparkled like stars, bright and very gentle. I was dazed. He was just too handsome. I was afraid I had walked into a shady place full of male models. Beside me, the top doctor was still blinking enthusiastically at me. I silently turned and left. "Hey, miss," he flashed his medical license, graduated with a master's from Hwada Medical School in Shinji. "I think I've seen him in the news. Aid missions in Africa, alleviating fever diseases. Look, he's a renowned doctor. My surname is Lin. Hello there, Miss Sue." He squinted, reaching out a hand with distinct knuckles. I hesitated and took it. "How do you know my name?" He rubbed his nose. The commotion outside just now was too loud. I accidentally overheard a bit. I lowered my eyes. "But don't worry, we doctors have professional ethics. Patient matters are strictly confidential." He hurriedly explained. I said indifferently, "No need to keep it confidential. It's not a big deal." With that, I still turned and left. "I can really help you. Forget this. Want some crawfish?" This strange doctor was really talkative, and his mind jumped around a lot. "Miss, why don't you sit a while longer, until the rain stops?" Lin Shinji pushed open the door for me and handed me an umbrella. The rain was pouring, rushing into my face. I didn't take it. He clicked his tongue and patted the water droplets off his shoulder. Just as I was about to step out the door, Lin Shinji called out, "I can help you win him back." In that moment, tears suddenly mixed with the rain as they streamed down my face. I don't know how long I had held them back, but now they poured out like a broken dam, unstoppable. My whole body was trembling, nearly choking on sobs. My nails dug deep into my palms. "None of your business," I said, turning to look at him, feeling anger for the first time. "I don't need to win him back. There's no chance for us. He hates me." Lin Shinji seemed taken aback. "Sorry, that was presumptuous of me. I just wanted to help you." He handed me a tissue and said softly, "Just a stranger you don't know." I quickly calmed down, wiped my eyes, and made a joke. "What, is that the medical ethics of healing the sick and saving the dying?" He smiled too and nodded. "Then please take a look and see if there's any hope for me." I dropped my umbrella and slowly walked back. For someone like me without emotions, is there still any point in living in this world? Lin Shinji turned on the heater and poured me a cup of hot tea. I am letting them down, disappointing those around me, and I am also disappointed in myself. My throat tightened. They were right. I am a cold monster. I spoke faster and faster, more and more, not even knowing what I was saying. By the end, my voice was trembling. His peach blossom eyes curved, and he chuckled. "You make it sound like a terminal illness." "It's okay, miss. What kind of illness is this?" "I am a miracle doctor. There's nothing I can't do." He started going off topic again. "Before, in Africa, there was a little girl with severe ear pain. Everyone did a series of tests and thought it was a precursor to leprosy. Only I finally discovered that a bug had gotten into her ear. I silently stared at the physician badge on his chest. But you're a dentist. How can you help me with my mental issues? Lin Shinji patted my shoulder confidently. All methods are one, same principle as a toothache or an ear bug. He smiled like a sly cat. Let me teach you how to date. I hurriedly waved my hands. What if I want to run away again? Lin Shinji crossed his arms, sat in front of me, and became serious. You've only been in love once, right? I nodded. Then why do you think his experience can represent your entire life? I paused, looking up at him. But in my youth, Shun Kei was the person who treated me the best in the whole world. He stopped smiling. When I was very young, I was also a little princess from a wealthy family. I remember countless diamonds at home, and servants. My father was always doing business abroad. My mother played the piano at home every day and played mahjong with wealthy ladies. They had a good relationship, and as the only child, I could get whatever I wanted. When my mother was drunk, she would kiss my cheek and say, "Our Mingzhu is the happiest baby in the world." It tickled and made me giggle. I always believed that. Later, my father failed in an investment. It was just a small mistake, but it snowballed. The house was mortgaged, the jewels were sold off. They started fighting. In the end, my father stood on the rooftop. He fell down. I cried hoarsely, but my mother smiled. She touched my head and said, "This is good, this is good." The next day, Mom, unusually, made a table full of good dishes. She was always a young lady who never dirtied her hands with housework. As I was gnawing on a chicken leg, Mom brought a bowl of soup and asked me softly, "Do you love Daddy?" Tears welled up in my eyes. I nodded desperately. She smiled. "Then why don't you die with him?" With that, she drained the soup in her hand in one gulp. She ladled another bowl for me. "Drink it, and our family will still be happy." I was terrified by her expression. Blood began to flow from her mouth, and her face twisted in pain. "Don't you love Mom? Then why won't you come with me? You ungrateful thing." She brought the spoon to my mouth, insisting, "Drink." I was forced to swallow a few mouthfuls. My stomach felt like it was being cut by knives. It hurt so much. I started screaming, "Mom, Mom." Then neighbors came. They called the police. Mom died. I was lucky to survive. That was the first time I realized that love is such a crazy and terrifying thing. I gradually became quiet and expressionless. Later, after a series of twists and turns, I was adopted by others, only to be abandoned by them. They were a middle-aged couple, really good people, but in the end they had their own child. The aunt took me to an amusement park and bought me ice cream. Her last words were, "I love you. I hope you are happy and joyful for the rest of your life." I instinctively replied, "I love you too." She was taken aback, and then she was gone. I have no sense of direction. I couldn't find her no matter what. I knew I had said the wrong thing. From then on, I learned to navigate, and I never said "I love you" again. Meeting Shun Kei was an accident. In my most monotonous and boring youth, he was like a shadow, following me from elementary school to middle school to high school. He made me laugh, cheered me up, shared snacks with me. I stayed silent, I refused, I remained expressionless. He never tired, unconditionally standing behind me. Shin Kei was the complete opposite of me. Warm, generous, from a well-off family, like a little son that was always smiling. I began to feel happy, occasionally smile, and sometimes respond. In the end, on the day the college entrance exam ended, I accepted his confession, applied to the same university as him, and later worked in the same city. The two of us had a period that could be called sweet. So, what happened afterward? Seeing me lost in thought, Lin Shinji asked softly, Afterward. I said slowly, "Afterward, when we had dinner together on Valentine's Day, we exchanged gifts. I gave him a blue tie, but it wasn't his favorite color. He got angry. He was taken aback. That was it. Maybe it was the accumulated dissatisfaction over the years. I rarely smiled, didn't let him touch me much, and never sweetly said, 'I love you' like other girls did. Taking a deep breath, I stood up. It's late. I need to go." He drove me. My phone kept buzzing with messages, but the screen was broken and I couldn't open it, so I just ignored it. At the cake shop by the entrance, Lin Shinji stopped the car and walked with me for a while. He still had his eyes curved in a smile.
Miss Sue, he said.
Tonight, I heard an unforgettable story. Thank you for sharing. You must be tired today. Have a good rest. I still kept my head down. Oh, he said, walking in front of me with his hands behind his back, flashing that cynical smirk again. Speaking of which, as part of the treatment, are you really unwilling to say, I love you? He added, no need to put any emotion into it. Saying it more often is a good thing. I was speechless. Just then, we ran straight into two people walking out hand in hand. A girl in a red dress was holding Shun Kei's arm. She looked at us and stuck out her tongue.
Huh.
Saying sweet nothings in public. Embarrassing. Shun Kei stopped scrolling on his phone irritably, looked up at me, then shifted his gaze to the man beside me. The look in his eyes turned icy. He sized us up with a half smile. Oh, you move on fast. His words dripped with sarcasm. Not great taste. The girl beside him asked softly, you know them? He said gently, draping his jacket over her. Not really. I was about to shake my head and deny it, but then I thought it really wasn't necessary. I walked around them. Lin Xinji's competitive streak came out. He puffed out his chest and smiled innocently. What exactly makes you think I'm not good enough? Shun Kei's expression darkened, but he calmed down and recognized him. He breathed a slight sigh of relief. Dr. Lin must be quite at leisure to drive his patient home. You know me, the biggest idle person in Jiangcheng. I just happened to come across something interesting. Lin Xinji lowered his head with a faint smile, caressing the car keys. And, besides, I'm teaching someone how to date, so don't mess things up for me. I blinked in confusion, slow to retort, when Lin Xinji shoved the warm teacup into my hands and coaxed, go back first. I'll have a word with an old friend. I took a few steps forward. Shun Kei's expression suddenly turned gloomy, a storm brewing in his dark eyes. He let out a cold laugh. He let go of the girl's hand beside him. Talking about love with someone like her, Lin Xinji, you must have lost your mind. Anger clouded his reason as he spoke in a low, measured tone. Sue Mo is a monster who doesn't understand love. She has no heart at all. I stopped. Huh. You take her as your lover, but she treats you like a fool. Lin Xinji sighed and patted his shoulder. Shun Kei, calm down. You're too impatient. Maybe I'm more patient, but I think she's pretty good. She even thanked me when she got out of the car, he said with a smile, his gaze turning cold. But you chose to walk her out and then abandoned her halfway. Honestly, bro, I think that was pretty irresponsible of you. I don't want to argue, he snorted. But even if you're bitter, there's no need to humiliate a young girl like that in public. I couldn't help turning to look at him. Lin Xinji had his hands in his pockets, his expression unreadable. Shun Kei froze, his body stiff. A flash of pain suddenly crossed his eyes. He crouched down, clutching his chest, radiating defeat and sorrow. What do you know? The girl in the red dress beside him, though unaware of what had happened, looked anxious and worried. She reached out to support him. Mr. Shun, are you okay? The girl seemed about to cry. Can you take us to the hospital? He doesn't look well. Lin Xinji looked at her and said softly, Shun Kei, let the past be the past. Cherish the person in front of you. That night, I thought I would cry my eyes out again, breaking down in tears. But surprisingly, nothing happened. I couldn't feel much sadness anymore. The guilt that had been quietly tormenting me for years finally dissolved today. After my shower, I lay on the bed, chatting with Lin Xinji on my old phone. He had added me at some point without me knowing. Did you think I looked really handsome today? I saw you sneaking a glance at me. Too bad I didn't get a chance to show off my 8-pack. I changed the subject. Are you home yet?
Yeah.
You? Not catching a cold, are you?
No.
Good night then. He said seriously, Sue Mo, that's not right. Huh. I just showed concern for you out of politeness. You should reciprocate by saying something back. Oh, I said slowly. Then, did the kind-hearted Dr. Lin get wet? Drink some ginger soup and go to bed early too. Lin Xinji sent a big thumbs up. Through the screen, I could tell he was holding back a laugh. I smiled. Good night. Good night, you brat. I put down my phone and looked at the mirror opposite. To my surprise, I found the corners of my mouth lifting, my eyes crinkling as I laughed uncontrollably. I splashed some cold water on my face, scolding myself inwardly for lacking resolve. Later, Lin Shinji often invited me out, under the pretense of helping me with my condition, but he never mentioned that I was sick, treating me like an ordinary person. He took me to see flowers and climb mountains, savoring all kinds of delicious food. More often than not, I would run to his clinic watching him see patients, prescribe medicine, and treat illnesses. I witnessed their pain, worries. Sometimes there were amusing incidents. When Lin Shinji, for the third time, assured an older man that his green-tinted teeth were just from a stuck piece of leek, I was laughing so hard I rolled around on the sofa. My best friend Jiang Lin sometimes called me laughing. "You found a second spring," she said. I hummed noncommittally. Lin Shinji also often discovered with pleasant surprise that I smiled more on certain days, that I could curse on others. On other days, I ate a lot, a whole lot. See, that must be my charm. I just smiled and said nothing. Actually, over the past 6 years, I've been changing myself. Because I felt sorry for Shin Kei, I wanted to make it up to him. But seeing that he's doing well now and is also resistant to me, I thought, forget it. The obsession in my heart has also dissipated. During this time, I've seen Shin Kei a few times. He always stares at me blankly, and various gifts and a brand new phone have been placed at my doorstep. I was drinking milk tea and turned to whisper to Lin Shinji. Many different kinds of patients came in. He was busy in an orderly manner, but still looked up to joke with me, saying he was jealous of me. But that's fine, I'm generous, so I'll let him take a few more looks. However, on Lin Shinji's strong suggestion, I decided not to stay in that small apartment anymore and also resigned from my position at Jiangqing No. 1 Middle School. The memories here really aren't suitable for me to dwell on anymore. On the day of the move, I ran into Shin Kei again. It was raining heavily, and he stood quietly by the door without an umbrella. "Why aren't you answering my calls?" I was startled and said innocently, "I didn't have time. I've been fooling around lately." He said softly, "With Lin Shinji? You two seem to get along well." I laughed. "We do have some fate." Hearing this, Shin Kei's eyes flared with fire, icy and piercing. He grabbed my hand, pinned me against the wall, and growled, "Then what about me? Mo, am I worthless in your eyes? After all these years of feelings, you let it go so easily." The back of my head hurt from the impact, but I remained expressionless. Looking at his furious face, I said softly, "Shin Kei, you are the one who let go first. During the 6 years we were apart, I didn't live well." He trembled, hugged me tightly, and murmured, "Then come back. We still have a chance." He insisted, "If you don't agree, I'll pester you wherever you go." I struggled a little and said calmly, "You know I don't like being pressured. And by doing this, where does it leave me and that girl? I can tell she loves you deeply." He was silent for a long time, then whispered, almost sighing, "What about you? Can you love me too? Please. Those days I didn't mean to insult you. I just lost my mind." His tone was urgent. "When I saw you with another man, when I saw you didn't care about me at all, I got jealous." Lin Shinji was right. I just couldn't accept it. He was very close, raindrops from his hair falling on my face, like unshed tears, scalding and making me tremble. The man rumored to be decisive and ruthless was now grieving and begging before me. "I'm sorry," I said slowly. "It's okay. I'll forget it in a few days." Hearing this, he slumped, laughing softly. "You're always so cold and heartless." I lowered my head. Actually, I've been trying very hard too. My throat tightened. I wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes and suddenly laughed. "Shin Kei, that day I mustered up a lot of courage to beg you to get back together on the street. I was on my period that day and I didn't actually want to eat ice cream." He was stunned. The buy one get one free ice cream was just an excuse. That day, I waited for him by the roadside for a long time. In our relationship before, it wasn't just him who was making an effort. Occasionally, I also sincerely tried to get closer to him. Carrying the small box downstairs, I thought for a moment and gently placed the umbrella in my hand by the door. Not far away, Lin Shinji was waving at me. He held an umbrella and opened the car door for me. Although I had waited for a long time, he didn't complain about how slow it was. He said softly, "Why didn't you bring an umbrella?" I shook my head. I accidentally left it. He took the things from my hands and glanced casually toward the stairwell. He smiled and gently took my hand. "Let's go then." I sent my resume to a kindergarten. Every day I play with illustrations and put on music for a group of children. My mood is pretty good. Other times, I would have meals with Lin Shinji. He often cooked alone, but now he just pulled me in as his dining companion. I realized Lin Shinji is really thoughtful. Even though we haven't spent much time together, he knows whether I like my fried eggs sunny side up or over easy. He knows that after a few light meals, I'll want something spicy. But he's also stingy. When he puts a piece of steak on my plate, he'll stare at me. Helplessly, I poured him a drink. Thank you, Dr. Lin. While he was washing dishes, I watched from the side. Lin Shinji acted spoiled. Can I have a reward kiss? No, I don't like kisses. I refused firmly. But I can help you wipe your sweat. As soon as the words left my mouth, I worriedly glanced at his expression. In the past, every time I rejected Shinkei, he would get a dark look on his face and have a big fight with me, asking why other people's girlfriends could do it but I couldn't. But I was overthinking it. Lin Shinji wasn't angry at all. He nuzzled his head closer, his cheek sliding across my palm, tickling me. My face flushed. Looking at his innocent almond-shaped eyes, I couldn't help but kiss him on the cheek, then fled in panic, leaving him overjoyed in place. Ha ha ha. Damn it. He used his charm. When he was busy and tired, sometimes I would volunteer to cook, but I didn't know what he liked to eat and felt embarrassed to ask directly, so I made a variety of things. After work, Lin Shinji picked up his bowl. He ate everything, giving nothing away. Seeing my cautious gaze, he suppressed a smile. Next time, just ask me directly about such small things. Besides, I'm not picky, he said lazily, taking my hand. Suemo, don't be so cautious. We're dating. It's not like you're serving a client. Everyone needs time to get to know and adjust to each other. You've done very well. He pulled me into his arms. I asked gloomily, then how do you know me so well? It makes me embarrassed. He blinked and said, maybe it's because I'm naturally gifted at loving people. Seriously, I patted him. His eyes crinkled in a smile. Because I knew you before. You just forgot me. Sure, it's a secret. I insisted. He teased me. Wanna know? Then call me husband and let me hear it. He laughed while enjoying my blushing face. 2 months later, Lin Shinji proposed to me. On the day of the proposal, Shun Kei appeared. Amid the crowd's noise, he rushed forward and took me away. There were so many people at the amusement park. He stepped on the gas. Lin Shinji couldn't catch up right away. Maybe it was late spring, and unbeknownst to us, a fine drizzle began to fall from the sky. People everywhere were taking shelter from the rain, but Shun Kei sped through the rain with me in the car. The doors were locked. I couldn't help turning to look at him. Are you crazy? His face showed stubbornness and a tremor. Suemo, you promised to be with me for life. How could you break your word? Shun Kei stared at me fixedly, running through several red lights in a row. Stop. He pressed down on my hand and growled. You can't agree to him. How could he ever treat you well? There's no one in the world who loves you more than I do. We were made for each other. A hint of obsession flickered in his eyes, startling me. Perhaps sensing my fear, his voice suddenly turned very gentle. Suemo, I've already parted ways with Jiang Jiang. Jiang Jiang, the canary he kept hidden in his luxurious mansion. I paused. So what? He let out a bitter chuckle. Why don't you ask me why? I hadn't paid attention to recent news, but Shun Kei's drastic change in temperament and behavior, his seclusion, was a big story. He had sold off several important stakes in quick succession. Then, by the path in Jiangqing No. 1 high school that we had walked countless times, he built a building and personally signed it. Shun Kei and Suemo will be together forever. This news baffled many reporters. The name Suemo wasn't familiar, and that lavish mansion where he kept his hidden beauty had already been sold off. Where the girl went, and why this happened, no one knew. Because I didn't really care, he said with a wry smile, but still continued. I found I still can't forget you. She was good, more considerate than you. Tender and kind. More importantly, she truly loved me. He slammed his fist on the steering wheel, eyes bloodshot. On the rain-swept viaduct, Shin Kei wasn't looking at the road at all. He stared at me, almost murmuring, but why do I keep thinking of you? He covered his head, as if in great pain. Every time I wake up from a nightmare, I wish the person lying next to me was you. That's not fair to her, so I gave her some of money and let her go. I watched him calmly, not responding. I just can't accept it. I just feel wronged. Why should a latecomer get ahead of me? Why can't my 10 years by your side compare to him? His voice was hoarse. Say you love me, won't you? How can you love him more than me? I covered my ears and screamed. Enough. I've finally let go with great difficulty. Why are you still forcing me? Everything could have been fine. We could have gone our separate ways. Shin-kei cut me off, his eyes red. What if I don't want to go our separate ways? Whether it's love or hate, I want to be tangled up with you, life after life. I shouted. But I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. He panted, finally calming down. Then let's die together. I also calmed down, smiled, and said, okay, but I will hate you. Let's not meet again in the next life. Shun-kei's hand paused. At that moment, the car slammed into the middle barrier. He hesitated for a second, then suddenly turned the steering wheel all the way, changing direction. The left side of the car collided head-on with the iron railing, emitting a huge roar, and I passed out. The sounds of ambulances and police cars were everywhere. The last scene was Lin Shinji carefully pulling me out. Sumo, I kept my eyes open. With all my strength, I took one last look at the bloodied figure in the driver's seat. Shin-kei gently used his blood, took my hand and said, go. After I was discharged from the hospital, no one ever mentioned that name again. My wedding with Lin Shinji was also postponed for half a year. He was always considerate of me, and I rarely thought about those past events anymore. He often treated me to meals. One day, I also took the initiative to invite him out. It was a seafood hot pot that I ordered. It had crab, oysters, and a birthday cake I had prepared for him. He was very surprised and hugged me, giving me a kiss. Thanks, dear. As we ate, I held an oyster to his lips. He paused, then laughed and pushed it away. I'm allergic to oysters. I froze, suddenly, a bit flustered. Sorry, I didn't know. We've been together for over a year. The more I spoke, the more guilty I felt. He took my hand and laughed softly. It's okay. I can just tell you directly. My favorite tie is purple. Lin Shinji blinked. That way, you won't have to sneak a peek at the colors under the covers every night.